Welcome back, everyone, to our career mode playthrough in NASCAR Heat Evolution as we prepare for the upcoming release of NASCAR Heat 2 in September. So now we're 13 races into the season, our very first season in career mode. We sit second in the standings. As we take a quick look, we've moved up over the last few races to now ninth in the points, but most importantly, in the chase standings, we are second because of our 3 wins, which ties us with Brad Keselowski. Now, Kevin Harvick got his second win in the last race at Charlotte, bringing him up to 4th now with 2 wins alongside of Kyle Busch. So I expect one of those 2 guys, at least, if not both of them, to have 3 wins before we get to the chase. The question is, how many wins can we tally up before we get there? All right, as far as the team goes and further upgrades, we now have the engine shop that is purchased, and we're ready for the engine specialist. We're going to need, about $110 more thousand before we can get there and think about getting that. And then we're going to need another 350 after that. So it's going to be a while. Unless the purses for the race go up quite a bit. But you can see here our last 3 races have been very nice. We've had 2 wins and a second. Hard to do much better than that. So now we're ready for Pocono. Let's take a quick look at what is after Pocono. After Pocono, we go to Michigan. Then we get our first road course race of the year with Sonoma. And then we go to Daytona. So Pocono is all about horsepower and drag. You need tons of horsepower, and you have to manage the amount of drag versus the amount of downforce. Now, we're going to be down on both of those. We're going to be higher on drag than we need to be. We're going to be lower on downforce than we need to be. Also lower on horsepower. So those things don't sound all that good, but the last few races have been great for us. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out there. Pretty much the same story at Michigan. You have to manage the drag and the downforce there while maximizing your horsepower. So the purses here look pretty good. We don't have any in the 20,000 range, which we had some at the beginning of the season in that range. Now we're in the mid to upper 30s. So I like that quite a bit. All right, we got a new sponsor. Our new primary sponsor, you can see the Flying J, is giving us now 12.5, and we are in a Chevy. We had an option in the last video to, at the very end, we looked at, do we go Chevy, Ford, or Toyota? I chose to go Chevy. It was the same amount of money regardless, 12.5 per race. So we're working our way up. You can see the secondary sponsors are still assuming that we're going to be finishing top 15 at the very best. So they haven't quite caught up with our recent performance, and it'll be interesting to see if we're able to continue this. Pocono is a track, along with Michigan coming up, where it could be iffy on our performance. If we're able to run up front here, and then at the next race at Michigan, I'm going to start to feel a lot better about our chances going forward, particularly, again, as we add more money and more upgrades to the car. But without further ado, it's time to head to Pocono.
The race is going green. There's the green light. All high.
All right, here we go, everyone. We are at Pocono, and this could be disastrous. The force feedback on the wheel feels terrible here. In fact, I'm quite frankly not getting much feedback at all from the car. Oh, and we're getting beaten and banged all around. How did we not spin out right there? Yeah, I mean, the car is sort of all over the place right now. I am wiggling the wheel back and forth, and if you're watching the steering wheel on the screen, you'll see it's not moving at all. And if it is moving at all, it's moving very little. So nothing good is happening right now.
Carlo.
So I'm not exactly sure what's going on and why the car is behaving this way. I mean, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary with the setup.
10 laps to go.
So interesting. I'm just going to try to survive this one. for a few laps here. Now that I've got a little bit of clean track, and I'm just going to try to see if I can get a few good laps in, and if I can get some good laps in, I might try to work our way forward. But you know, again, with where we are in the chase standings, we don't really have to worry about this too much. We're definitely faster than Stenhouse. Maybe I can get around him on the outside here. Maybe not. Tuck in here behind him and shove him down the front straightaway.
Stay low. Still there.
But yeah, there was an unusually large spread in qualifying here. We were a good 1.5 seconds or so off the pole, and then the back markers were a huge amount. I mean, they were 3-4 seconds off on speed, so it was definitely not close in qualifying.
Stay high. Still there. Still there.
Move Mr. Stenhouse out of the way so that we can actually
Still there.
get to the side of him. And then, of course, he's going to win the drag race here on the straightaway.
Still there.
But I might be able to get by him right here. I got a good run on him.
Still there. Still there. All clear.
All right, so we're clear of Stenhouse. Now let's see if we can get back to running some laps. Yeah, this car just doesn't feel good at all to drive right now. This is not fun to drive. In particular, it's not necessarily the looseness or tightness of the car, it's the way the wheel feels. I mean, there's a lot of dead zone right here in the wheel right now, and that is not fun to drive with.
Still there. All clear.
All right, so we're clear of one more car. All right, got through that corner decent. Whoa, hello. Very loose going through there. All right, let's pull up the leaderboard and see that we're 0.8 of a second behind
That
Larson,
was a great lap.
who is about a half second behind the car in front of him, who I cannot see right now because I got to focus too much. No time to be sightseeing when the car is this out of control. Oh, Eric Amarola, okay. All right, I tried to drive it in a little bit harder that time, and the car liked it. All right, so yeah, I'm just going to start driving the car harder. We're either going to wreck it or get faster. We'll see which one happens first.
5 laps to go.
All right, 5 more laps. Let's see how many spots we can pick up. Again, you can see we can't run with these guys. Ooh, under braking, that was not fun. Just trying to use the braking to settle the car on entry But that turned out may be having exactly the opposite effect. Ooh, got up on the rumble strips there. Car did not like that. So that ruined any run we might have had on the competition. The good news is, I mean, we're sticking right with these guys. See if we can hold our own down the front straightaway with Amarola. So far, so good. He pulls us at the end.
Still there.
All right, can I get around him on the outside?
Still there.
We got a good run off the corner, and we cleared him. All right. Hey, I'll take all the passes I can get. Yeah, I just can't be as aggressive through that corner as I want to be. Car rotated very nicely there in the center. So this is one of those things I'm just going to need some more laps.
That was a great lap.
Get used to what the car is giving me. Ooh, car didn't turn quite as much as I wanted it to. All right, what do you do with a loose car? Very loose on entry. Give it some gas. In this game, anyway, that seems to be working out quite nicely because the right rear tire is squealing at me on entry.
Here you go.
All right, that was a little better coming off the corner. All right, see if we can get through the tunnel better this time. No, we cannot. Still wasn't able to do what I wanted to do through the tunnel. Oh, very loose there. Let's just drift it through turn 3. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could have if I had decided to. Somehow we still got through there better than Larson.
Last lap.
All right, one more lap. Let's see if we can get by Larson. Oh, great run off that corner. This could get iffy
Still there.
going into the tunnel. He's pulling us down the straightaway here. Oh, nope, couldn't hold the outside. All right, so now we got one more corner. Let's drive it down in here hard. All right, we got the car to turn. We got a run on him.
Still there. That's
Ooh.
worth a few points.
Couldn't quite get it there. All right, so that didn't really help us out a whole lot. 17th place. But we're going to put that one behind us and just move on. Next time we come here, which, if you follow the real Cup schedule, won't be very long because the two Pocono races are very close together. I'm going to try some different things, see if I can't get some feel back in the steering wheel so I can get a better feel for the car. All right, so we only got one of our secondary sponsors since we didn't get a top 15. But that's okay. We come away with $42,000 in the winnings. $22 for the race, $12,500 from our primary, and $7,000 from our one secondary that paid out. So overall, not bad. Not, of course, as good as we wanted to do, but not bad. We're still barely hanging on to a top 10 in the point standings. All right, so 54.5 was the fastest lap. Yeah, we were nowhere close to that. All right, let's get back to the garage. And let's see where we stand. Congrats on your new sponsor. That car looks sweet. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Larson. All right, so you notice our facility has now moved into a 2-star facility. We now have 4 green dots, but quite a few more green dots to go on our team. 5,780 fans, not bad there. Of course, the most impressive statistic is the chase standings. We are in 2nd, so very nicely done there. So far, definitely much farther ahead of where I thought we would be in our first career season. Next video should be interesting as we'll be headed to Michigan. So thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat Evolution.